You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
She got pregnant by another Jedi who wiped her fucking mind.
Welcome everyone to a Couch Potatoes bonus episode. That's right. It is May 5th. A nice crisp Sunday afternoon. Sunday and Saturday. And we just got back from watching the Phantom Menace re-release in theaters and figured might as well go ahead and talk about it here on an extra bonus episode. You're welcome, Dustin. It may be a week late, but you know what? We are having an extra bonus episode.
Hell yeah.
And because of Chris's work schedule and me not wanting him to get fired, that's why we've put the pre-shows on the back burner. Chris doesn't need to be down in an alcoholic Mountain Dew before going into work for his third shift job.
I can do that at work.
You do it at work. You just like to not do it before work because you're driving.
It's uncouth.
So yeah, no news segments, none of that. We're just hopping straight in. For me personally, this was really cool because I was kind of sorting it out on the way up, and I never saw this one, and I don't think I saw episode 2 either. So first time getting to see this one in theaters.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It was a good little ride to go to the theater for I think probably the second time this year.
Yeah.
But no, it's fantastic. Fantastic outing. We had to move seats twice, but other than that.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. So earlier this week, I'd sent you a message. I was like, hey, if we want to catch this, for any of the showings in the next, 3-4 days, I ought to go ahead and get tickets just in case they sell out. He goes, cool, let's pick the Sunday, early afternoon. Perfect. Pick out some seats, nab them, we're good to go. And when I was looking at it, there was only like 1 or 2 seats taken, and they were like off in the corners. And I'm like, all right, sweet, we should have a pretty empty theater. We walk on in, and we were in row G, like 5 and 6 or something. Yep. And we look up, and sure enough, there are people sitting in our seats.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Like, whatever, it's a fucking empty theater.
The matinee.
Yeah. So we just go literally the row right in front of them and sit in the seats where we would have been, just 1 row up. Get about roughly 5-10 minutes of getting comfortable and situated. All of a sudden, you're in my seat.
Yeah, just an older fella. I kind of understand where he's coming from because he probably picked those seats in particular.
Yeah.
Because 20 years ago he went to theater and saw this goddamn movie. 25 years ago he saw this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I gotta get it, but it's like this is why I don't like when it comes to like matinee showings where you could just whoever shows up, fucking find a seat.
Yeah.
Just that's all you got to do. I can understand this is like a night showing, like an evening showing. Everybody's paying extra anyway. Yeah, you should pick your fucking seat. But I'm just like,
so we're like, all right, sorry, man. Let's go. We'll move. We go 2 rows up. Now we're really close to the screen. It's like, all right, cool. And in the back of my mind, I'm still sitting here going, wouldn't it be a son of a bitch? Mm-hmm. Wouldn't it be fucking nuts if somehow hey, you're in our spot. It's just like, Jesus Christ. I could feel the annoyance just radiating off you in that exact moment.
I told the guys because she was, not a big deal.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, sorry, man. Someone took our seats too.
Yeah.
And I look up. And I'm like, yeah, it's an older couple. I'm not going to tell them to fucking move.
No. And I even kind of sussed that when we first walked up to it. I was like, I don't want to deal with this.
But I knew not a lot of people were coming to see this movie. It's a Sunday. It's right after, it's right when church lets out, so no one's really going to be out and about. But it did, for a fucking second there, I was just like, I'm about to walk out of this goddamn theater. I'm just like, this is fucking annoying. And this is why you should make your kids read, kids.
So that way they don't sit in motherfucker seats. We were trying to follow the rules.
So they don't run into me.
We were trying to follow the rules. They weren't letting us.
If you want to live in an anarchist society, that's fine.
Chancellor Palpatine, if you really want to live in a lawless society.
Yeah.
Well, hot damn, let's go ahead and dig on into this Star Wars Episode 1. Now, we did cover this a couple years back on our Patreon, but honestly, we kind of just did that through memory and rereading the Wikipedia, because for me personally, I remembered this movie the most compared to the others.
Yeah.
I think I even mentioned that in the Patreon episode that I was like, yeah, I actually didn't rewatch this one.
I did before we recorded.
Gotcha. So I didn't even rewatch it then. I still remembered it pretty well, but I rewatched Attack of the Clones and Revenge because I didn't on those. So seeing this was probably the first time, since maybe 2010, 2011, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time since I had seen it, and honestly, I kind of have a new appreciation for it.
Yeah, it's still a fun movie.
There's still a lot of flaws. We'll get into those. There's still some really funny moments.
But, going to the theater and see it like it's meant to be really amps up the rating.
Absolutely.
Anytime you go to the movie theater where the movie is designed particularly for that, most movies are, 90% of them are. But for a Star Wars with the soundtrack and, just the cinematography and everything, yeah, it's like a Quentin Tarantino film. Those movies are meant to be appreciated in a theater.
Yeah.
And even paying for tickets and everything, like, it's still nice to see that.
Oh yeah,
it's worth it. I will say, like, guys, it's worth the money. If you get this before the 9th, check out the movie. It's fantastic, because I think next year they're going to do Attack of the Clones, probably. Just to get that merch money.
Oh yeah, you got to.
But I'd be excited for next year for that.
Absolutely.
Because that has a lot more larger pan shots, and this one gives you new appreciation for the prequel.
It definitely did for me. And one thing that there's really no need to kind of go frame by frame all the way through. We're going to be a little bit. We can be a little shotgun. We can kind of jump around. But one of the things that, as an adult rewatching this and having the full context and perspective of everything we do know, man, I do have to say I really understand the annoyance of Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Because for the longest time, I was like, whatever, he's a character for the kid audience. Leave it alone. I was a little bit more of an apologist. Rewatching it this time, I kind of started watching it in a, does he have to be here? Did he have to do that? Kind of moment. When it's like, he plays some pivotal moments. Jar Jar, the character, needed to be there. But they inserted so much in areas that they honestly didn't need to. And I think that was the mess up. Because I didn't have a problem really with the Jar Jar character. It was just how much they kept inserting him and putting little noises of his in the background so you didn't forget about him.
Yeah, so like, it is a kids movie, pretty much, to a point. But there's
trade federations and taxations and blockades.
You can't say it's a kids movie if you're doing that much geopolitical politics analogies.
Honestly, this is the first time I watched the movie and felt like I actually understood what the fuck they were talking about.
Yeah, so like you can't put a giant political message in a kids movie and complain when adults are like, why is there a blackface stereotype in your goddamn movie? What's crazy is it was a simple fix. You didn't need Jar Jar. All you had to do was use an existing character you had already created. The second Gungan guy, the more stoic one, the one that he could have been like, oh my God, thank you for saving my life. I was running away to warn my brothers and sisters underwater, and you saved my life, Qui-Gon. You need to come down there with me, and we need to tell them, help. You guys are fighters. We're fighters. We don't know the people of Naboo that well. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should try to talk the king in. And the king is fine. The king of the Gungans is fine. The only problem I have with him is his weird body language. Yeah. Like it sounds like vomit to begin with.
Yeah.
But the speak they have, it is not.
Woo-saw.
But like it's not congruent with like how Jar Jar speaks. Bink speaks. It doesn't come out as as bad as he is, you know, like the king and the other guy, the other general, they speak, but when they speak, it's a smooth, like almost Jamaican accent. But when Jar Jar speaks, it is a horrible stereotype voice.
Yeah. So I am honestly kind of bracing a little because I feel that there's going to be a brand new generation of kids that are catching this movie for the first time.
Yeah.
Much like I was during the special editions when Mom took me. So I'm really curious with the more, choose my phrasing here, the more politically sensitive and aware youth. I wonder how they're going to take looking at a character like Jar Jar, looking at Watto, looking at the main alien race that was causing the blockade and eventually descended on Naboo. These are very much black, Jewish, and Asian stereotypes. And if looked at through the wrong lens, could actually be viewed as hateful.
Well, because it's only about 22 years old, give or take 23 years old, whenever the movie came out, I think it's fine with the newer lens just because we can make fun of it and the creator's still alive and we can make fun of him. So I think, you know, comedy kind of fixed that.
I had a black wife.
Yeah, that's fine.
George, that's just as bad as saying that's like having a black friend.
But like Watto, Jesus fucking Christ, you create a very complicated character who, one, cannot be touched by Jedi mind tricks. We only know 2 species that can do it. Him and the fucking Hutts. They can't be touched by that shit. There's something about their species that makes them immune to Jedi bullshit. And you made him the most persnickety fucking Jew stereotype I have ever fucking heard. It is right up there with like a Nazi propaganda poster.
Oh
like,
my God.
And it's like, I have all my credits. And it's just like, God damn it, dude.
Only money.
And this is like, it just reminds me of that comedian who did that whole fucking like bit about racist Star Wars. He's like, you'll fucking love it. He's like, there's a black caricature character. There's a guy whose only words about money with a long nose. And, it's just like, and he's just cool with slavery. But like, it's just, it is a caricature of a caricature. You know, it's the racist crows from Disney. It's all that's all it is. And Watto is more stoic in the second movie because he's dying, and that's what they should have done with Jar Jar Binks instead of ending that dude's career that played Jar Jar Binks. You could have put him in the Max von Sydow spot in episode 7, Force Awakens. Hey, who's this guy Poe Dameron's meeting in the fucking desert? It's a dying Jar Jar Binks. Who knows who Darth Vader really was? Who knows that his grandson is really out there? Who knows his son is out there? A guy who's always in the background. Let's just say, that would have been the stoic end of Jar Jar Binks getting killed by Kylo Ren or something. But
yeah, because kind of give him the voice like the general had in this movie.
Yeah, but he's dying.
Hey,
yeah, but he's dying. You know, by the time, if you guys get a chance, watch episode 2, Watto's dying. And he's like, hey, I'm sorry, you know, you look good. Like, Anakin, it's great to see you. You look good. I'm kind of glad everything worked out for you. Your mom got free and married a dude. He freed her. I don't know where she's at, though. You know, that was a stoic end for him, you know, instead of being this corrupt, inconsiderate slave master. You know, they gave him a solid ending. But if you're just watching episode 1, he is
in a vacuum, yeah.
Yeah, he's a fucking cartoon character of the worst kind. Yeah, but I tried my hardest. I was trying so goddamn hard not to laugh every time Watto came on the screen. Especially when he's just like, I have this what was it, special dice or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it's a coin. Just flip a fucking coin. But it was a red and blue die.
Yep.
And he's always gambling. He's always on the fucking drag. And if you notice the die, it's D6. 4 of them are red and only 2 are blue. So he has a 4 out of 6 of winning. And like, just like Qui-Gon's just like, Jedi, that shit.
Well, see, I also love the fact that I'm surprised he didn't call it, because he was just like, your Jedi mind tricks don't work on me. And then see the thing flip over and be like, fuck you, motherfucker.
Yeah, you use your Jedi bullshit.
Yeah.
But I think another thing is when we see the characters in this crime area, you know, that Tatooine is the bad place. There is one rule of law: do not renege on a bet. And he made a bet, and he knew who he was betting with, and it's on him. He did that. Now, pod racing, I'll accept, you know, that's a whole different game. But I do like Qui-Gon's threat. Do you want to talk to the Hutts about this? The authority, the law? Do you want to talk to them about this? Because they're going to look at you and ask, why did you try to bet a fucking dice game on with the Jedi, you stupid fuck?
Yeah, you deserve what you fucking get.
And look at the Jedi.
And by the way, stay here as we see them out.
Yeah. It's like, it is fucking hilarious. The pacing of this movie too. The pacing of this movie is very fast, and it gets so really slow. We get two Jedi for the first time. If let's say you're watching this category or contextually, the first time we ever see Jedi, there's two of them: a master or knight, and a Padawan. They show up. For some reason, Jedi have inserted themselves. And I want to ask you this: was the title crawl very short to you?
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
They did not.
It was 2 paragraphs.
3, technically. There was a little wrap up at the end. I was trying to count to see how many paragraphs because I wanted to talk about it. I honestly was trying to view this with brand new eyes, as if I didn't know about episode 2 and 3. The only things I know is the original trilogy. I was trying to watch it within that context. And yeah, they didn't really give a whole lot of background to kind of get you ready for what they're doing.
The thesis statement of this title crawl is
taxes.
No, they decide that the Republic, the Galactic Republic, the OG Republic, decide to tax the Trade Federation for some reason. The Trade Federation does a blockade on a sovereign planet. And that's where we begin.
Yep.
And so to stop the blockade, the Senate sends 2 ambassadors, a fighting force of 2 delegates who, by legend alone, can murder everyone on the ship. Who don't, keep in mind, they don't need fucking guards.
No.
Most of the time when you see Princess Amidala, Chancellor Palpatine, Chancellor Vicorum, who do they got? They got like 6 motherfuckers with them. Armed. You send 2 Ambassador Jedi, no.
They are the armed.
They got their murder sticks.
And they will kill again.
They're down by law.
Galactic immunity, bitch.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Just pulling up, fucking Run the Jewels playing. Fucking, who is it this? But so our Asian stereotype Trade Federation guys are basically saying, hey, have you ever met a Jedi before? No. They're fucking terrifying. Why the fuck would I meet one? I don't think you can kill them. Which is later added in the movie by Anakin Skywalker, who says, yeah, you can't kill a Jedi. That's impossible.
Bom, 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 bom,
and it's just like this fucking Always Sunny tagline pulls up. Anakin was wrong. Everything Anakin says is a cutaway for fucking Always Sunny. It's just like, Anakin was horribly wrong.
You can't kill the Jedi. Anakin kills all the Jedi.
Now, this is pod racing. This was not, in fact, pod racing. This was genocide. But, like, everything, like, because we know what happens, like, I literally said to you, he's like, because he's talking to Qui-Gon for 2 seconds. He's like, has anyone seen them all? He's like, no, I don't think so. He's like, I'm going to see them all. And then I just timed in, and murder them on that planet. Because technically Darth Vader has visited every system in the galaxy by lure alone. He's visited everyone. He kept his promise to Qui-Gon. He's
like, really did?
I'm going to see them all, but I'm going to kill so many innocent people because I'm a Skywalker.
Takes a long drag off his Camel Red or his Marlboro Reds.
Skywalker. I got Skywalker. Just doing the 5 on it. But like, so going into like the beginning, they're there just to put these motherfuckers down because Obi-Wan says, I have a bad feeling about this, and Qui-Gon's like, calm down, we're Jedi, we're going to put these motherfuckers in submission. He says it in a way where he's like, we're going to make this quick because we can.
I should have done this. I should have brought like a little pad and paper with me and kept a tally of every time Qui-Gon was wrong.
Yeah. But
this motherfucker is wrong so many times in this movie.
But the context of what Qui-Gon knows is every time the Jedi went to go settle something, it got fucking settled. Everything that happened before this, the Jedi were settling shit. So that's why they're blind. They got a fucking 20-0 fucking win streak. For what? For 800 fucking years, that they think their enemy don't fucking exist. They think they can do whatever the fuck they want, and that's why they all get fucking murked.
Yeah, I still love those. It's like, I have a bad feeling about this. I don't sense anything at all.
Maybe you should chill the fuck out, Obi-Wan.
Here's a death stick.
Yeah.
Chill.
Yeah, your daughter steals them. But immediately they talk to Sidious, and this is the first time we hear his name. Immediately, there is no like long drawn out thing. He just appears in the hologram and says, take care of him.
Now, since I was not, consciously aware of lore and everything due to my age, did people know that was the Palpatine?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if the audience was 100% connecting that was the Palpatine.
Yeah, so the
Because
lore,
I felt like there was something about like one of the action figures that like said something about it, and like it made people mad. I forget.
so when you first get the figure, so like the Star Wars 1 action figures, you could buy Senator Palpatine, but on the back of it, it doesn't say he's Darth Sidious. But
don't they call him Palpatine in Empire and Revenge? I mean, Return?
no, he's the leader of the Republic.
So he remained unnamed.
Yeah. Sidious doesn't get his real name. Like, you don't know Darth Sidious's real name until about Return of the Jedi.
I thought they said Palpatine, though, at some point in the original. I could be wrong.
They probably have in passing in the new, especially in the newer ones, when they just solidify the story a little bit more in the original trilogy. But I knew Palpatine was Darth Sidious before Episode 1 because everyone knew.
Okay.
That was his real name.
Gotcha.
Because they all have real names. That was the fucked up part. We don't know Darth Maul's real name until like you watch the animated show. But like Dooku's real name and all that stuff. But yeah, so Sidious tells him, like, go ahead and kill him.
Yeah. Fuck it.
But the Federation don't know him as Palpatine. See, he's hidden enough that they only know Darth Sidious. And the way he's speaking legalese, he's like, I'll make it legal. Mm-hmm. So they know. Make it legal. So they know, for one, that he's a Sith and that he's dealing with the Republic in a back alley kind of way. So they're like, okay, he's on the up and up. Let's just do what he says. Yeah. And I love the conversation. He's like, have you ever dealt with a Jedi before? Nope. And it's just like, we're all gonna get fucking murdered.
And before we move away from that too quick, it's like one thing that really did call to me is like, I remember thinking they sounded really Asian back in the day, and I was going into it kind of looking for it. After a minute during those long dialogue sessions, I did start going, did Bert, Lucas, no one during like the audio mixing and recording of this go, hey man, like, you can say ours. It's okay. Just try that for me one more time. We don't, because for a minute I'm sitting there going, yeah, I'm like sitting going, God, this doesn't feel very alien to. It sounds foreign, but not alien.
You assigned the Tweety.
No, I say yeah.
Number 7 special egg roll.
that was just something that really struck me. It's just like, yeah, it's not even too much of a stretch to say that's a bit of a stereotype.
I know the movie was made in the late 90s, but Jesus fucking Christ.
Exactly. And you know, I am not sensitive to that kind of thing.
But like, what
but
the
even
fuck?
for a minute, I was going,
it's over the top, guys.
God damn.
But like, so basically the Trade Federation is China. Let's just say what it is. It's China. And so they invade a sovereign country, Korea, with a very two dynamic cast, a symbiosis, kind of the Gungans and the Nabooans. And
it's not too much of a stretch to even pull from that, simply for not even, the stereotypes he baked in, but he later on said that, like, what, Revenge of the Sith had, like, Bush allegories or something like that.
So what's funny is 9/11 happens, and Attack of the Clones is a brutal look at how things happen so quickly in war.
That's right.
That's why Attack of the Clones is an allegory for the invasion of Iraq.
That's that's right.
Yeah, so Revenge of the Sith is basically the forever war that's going to be taking place with terrorism.
So it's not even too much of a stretch considering he baked that into the sequel.
Yeah, so by the time he got full leeway after Empire, he just made Return of the Jedi as Space Vietnam, where the America's the bad guys.
Yep.
But in this one, there are no talks. Okay, so an invasion happens. The three versions of leadership: your chancellor, which is Palpatine, who is your ambassador; your elected queen. I have a problem with that. You don't elect queens. You don't elect monarchs.
Especially one that's like, what, 13?
That's Keira Knightley, by the way. That was Keira Knightley, who's playing the other Padme. Everybody forgets that she looks exactly like the other one, Natalie Portman.
The other one.
The other one. But actually, what's funny is he took a lot from history to make Princess Amidala. Princess Amidala is a damn near shot for shot of the former monarch of Mongolia, who was murdered by the communist Chinese.
Like, even down to the costume.
Down to the costumes. And, like, that's, in history aspect, I'm watching it, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is a fucking pull. If he's making the Trade Federation sound like Chinese people and act like a Chinese corporatocracy, yeah, they would fucking kill a monarch, because communists and fascists don't like fucking monarchs. They don't allow that shit.
This almost should be a History We Forgot bonus episode, considering.
We could. Fuck. The tale of a long time ago we forgot. But no, so that's the adaptation of where he's pulling from. That's not a new idea. These elaborate costumes for this one character is an allegory for that.
I'd love to see one of those like parody cartoonists like redo a scene from that, but like every time the camera cuts away to like Obi-Wan or someone else, every time it cuts back to her, she's already in a different costume.
Yeah. Because that is
what it felt like for a minute.
And I will say this. They kept her a strong character through the trilogy.
Yes.
That's the best thing they could have done with her character. She is tough from episode 1 to 3. That's fantastic. They didn't clip her wings like they did with Carrie Fisher.
And I find that interesting too. It's like possibly because this movie just does not get, the love that, the other movies get. If it was ever a situation where people forget how good of a character she is and how strong she is because people just do not pay attention to that movie anymore.
Yeah.
Because that was one thing I did note. I was just like, yeah, damn, she's in it to win it, and she's strong, she's smart, she's cunning, and there was good notable traits, like basically her saying, I'm going to go down with the ship.
Yeah,
I'm going to be there. If they're going down, I'm going down with them.
Yeah, if shit breaks nasty, I'm going to fucking take care of it.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's able to use that decoy move, fucking is a smart play by Lucas. To mean like Padme's not always going to be the billboard person, but she's going to be close enough to pull a gun and revenge that motherfucker. Disney actually carried this on very well with some of their comics after when they did the after original trilogy comics. What happened to Darth Vader after he became Darth Vader? Well, one of the things he does in the comics is he goes in Naboo, and who's there waiting for him are the handmaidens. And they all look like Padme, and so he's caught off guard, and they attack him and fuck him up.
Oh shit!
So in the comics, they carried that on very well, and he figures out what's going on, and so those characters are still alive.
It's interesting
in the canon,
and I find it interesting. Speaking on canon, that they've kind of honed in on the only way to defeat Vader is to mentally fuck him up.
Yeah, if you catch him off guard just enough.
It's like you can't catch him physically off guard.
No.
You can't catch him... Okay, let me rephrase that. His emotions and mental state is what can do it, because you're not even going to catch him mentally faltering.
Yeah.
However, the sight of his son yelling, "Father, please."
Yeah.
is a weak spot.
Yeah, if you activate that PTSD, you got him.
Seeing multiples of his dead wife, that's gonna fuck him up. So it's like it's kind of an interesting trait that the only way to really get that upper hand on Vader is to get in his mind.
Yeah, I really highly recommend the comics Disney put out, especially with like what happened to Luke after Empire or what happened to Leia after New Hope.
I've seen so many people talk about being like, it is because you're talking about the Disney comics. They're just like, why couldn't have these comics been the actual movies?
I don't know. Why couldn't Disney keep that guy on for X-Men 97? Just saying. Apparently, he wrote the greatest X-Men story ever fucking told that the comics could even fucking do, and y'all fired him.
For undisclosed reasons.
Yeah, unless he like murdered a midget in front of me, I'm leaving him on the deck. Like, I'm leaving him on the ship. Like,
and the weird thing, not to go too far off a tangent, but the weird thing about that as well is they're still like retweeting things of his.
Yeah.
And because he's like very communicative with Twitter and stuff with, the after shows and answering questions.
And he's answered fans too. He's meeting them on the board.
And Marvel isn't trying to shut that down or anything. So it's
I think he caught them slipping, and that's why they let him go.
Oh, so they're still trying to save
my
face.
Conspiracy theory is they fired him because he caught them slipping on some shit, and he already wrote 2 seasons, so he's going to get paid for those, and they fired him. So
to keep his mouth shut, NDA shit.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Now he'll pop off with some fans and stuff and be like, "Hey, there's a 3-part finale coming up. If you want to know what happens, watch the old series, season 4, season 3, season 2, these particular episodes, and you know where I'm pulling from." And he's actually cutting off a lot of YouTubers doing that because they're like, "Well, why would he do that?" Those commentators are getting shut the fuck up because he told you what to look at. Yep. And a lot of I've not seen a lot of negative commentary about the new X-Men, and that's because of him.
Yeah. I would fully agree.
But back to Star Wars.
Yes. We'll talk about that on the main episode. Yeah. And peek behind the curtain, we're recording the bonus episode before the main episode, so that's why that slipped in.
But back to the Star Wars.
Yeah, the Star Wars.
With this one, we're our antagonist or our protagonists, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, are stuck on Naboo. They're able to boot and rally fast enough, and I don't know if you've noticed, they take I call it the Silver Chrysler, the beautiful ship.
Yes.
There's about 12 other people that hop on the ship with them. They're soldiers, but at no point do they get off the goddamn ship and go to Tatooine with, like, they're still on the ship doing nothing.
So I thought about that as well, and I think the workaround, the story narrative work on that is they're there guarding the queen. So, or princess, or what have you.
I get that because they're the pilots. A lot of those guys are like the elite pilots. I will say,
it'd be like more or less like you and I went on a recon mission, and Mikey was the pilot, and we're just like, bro, just watch the chick, please. Just don't come out here. Yeah, you've had 3 death sticks today. Just like chill, put on a hologram. Please don't come out here and get yourself fucked up.
But like, I will say this is a big thing I love about the first movie. Whoever designed the Naboo people did a perfect job on their fighters, because if you remember the guy that's piloting the ship, he's got that badass jacket on. He looks like an older kind of guy, like middle-aged. He looks like he could be Han Solo's dad. This suave-looking motherfucker. He looked like a cool 70s detective, but he's got the flared collar and shit. And he's got his fucking piece on him. This motherfucker looks like he pulls out a snub nose in a strip club and been like, "Where's the drug dealer?" like that guy. He looked like a cool dude. He looked like a cool guy you'd see in the 70s Star Wars.
I didn't register that at the time, but you're 100% right.
Because I had his action figure.
Hell yeah! You're like, that's why I recognize.
But he looks cool as shit, and. What I hated with the head of security, they made him look dumb as fuck. His costume sucks. But, like, he's a great actor.
Oh, the guy with the pointy white beard?
No, the black guy. The head of security.
Yes,
the head of security.
Yes.
He did a solid performance because I believe he gets killed in the second movie immediately. But with the group of people they have, it was fantastic. It's got this, if you just change the soundtrack just a little bit, if you go from John Williams to like whoever Quentin Tarantino hires. Like the whole vibe of the movie fucking changes. Get in the fucking ship. We're like, so they take off.
All the leaves are brown.
And what we find out is this is where R2's been the whole time. This is where R2 is from, and they don't have enough gas in the car, so they got to go to Tatooine, the shitty gas station out on the outskirts. And this is basically the planet of the hills have eyes. Let's not stay here too long. And then we go into the whole Watto scene, the whole interactions. And what I like is with Tatooine, we get the early look of Tatooine. What it was, they would go back to Tunisia to film it, which was fantastic. They go back to the original area.
I was thinking about that when they were shooting it. Poor Jake Lloyd. Like, this kid is getting wrapped in having to talk and act to nothing. And if I remember the making...
And speak gibberish.
Yes. And if I remember correctly, the Tunisia scenes were some of the first they physically shot. Like, I think they may have shot like some preliminary, like, you know, CGI and or model scenes.
Italy and Tunisia were their only big areas.
Yeah, but so I believe Tunisia was like the first main stop. So Jake, a child actor, has been thrown into this and is now in like 150-degree heat, having to do pachacha wata kalpachata and expected to give a good delivery. It's like, you know, he wasn't that good. But every time I watch this movie, I get more sympathetic for Jake. Like, poor fucking kid.
The problem I have with it is, if he's going to be your villain, if he's going to be the guy, and you're going to make his love interest Padme, either make her younger, make her a princess, or make him older.
Just a touch. Just a few years.
That's all, just balance out that age difference a little bit more, because she looks 15, maybe 16.
He looks like
8.
I love how both of us were right on with 8.
And so they go to Watto's to get some parts. The stupid fucking conversation. I don't take Republican bullshit.
Fuck your credit cards, give me money.
Yeah, give me cash. Hey, blah, 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 blah. Watch the fucking front desk while I talk to this piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he's stuck there talking
to Padme.
Another person, by the way. And Jar Jar Binks.
Yes.
It is the most goofy fucking, like,
are you an angel?
yeah. Oh, okay, so we know hell exists, apparently, because Han Solo said, hell, I guess angels exist, too.
Yeah. Well, space pirates talk about them.
Yeah, okay, well, whatever. Whatever. But, like, there's that little glint in the eye later on where it's just like, what is happening between these two people?
No, the scene when they're flying away and he's like, I'm cold.
That's a scene, yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking... that's just as bad.
Reverse that.
Thank you.
Reverse that. Let's say it's King Amidala and little Annie. Yeah, we got a fucking problem.
Just a little bit. Just a wee bit.
Yeah. So Anakin tells them, hey, you know, Sandstorm's coming. Do you have
come back to my crib?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna last.
And so his mom's really cool about it. I'll say that for slaves. For indentured servants.
Well, I was gonna say, they're not used to saying no.
Yeah. So, but she kind of elaborates. She's like, hey, all slaves on Tatooine have a little thing in them.
Was that an add-in? I don't remember that.
I don't think it was an add-in. I think that was just something we missed in passing.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I really doubt that was like one line I genuinely did not remember.
I will say this. She does this cool little trick with her hands when Jar Jar Binks is in the room. So if we go back and watch it, they might have done it on the Disney one. She pours Qui-Gon a drink. She doesn't pour anything out. She pours Jar Jar, doesn't pour anything out. Goes to Padme, and something actually comes out. So she's doing a flick of the wrist where she's not tilting her fucking hand. Oh. So they're telling her with Qui-Gon and Jar Jar, don't pour anything. And it's just this weird little, like, how do you train someone to deal with CGI bullshit? Because obviously there's no stand-in.
Well, Ahmed was sitting there.
Yeah, but like because the cup doesn't exist.
Right.
Because he's holding the cup. And so we need you to pretend there's a cup. And we need you to put it right here on this mark. And I appreciate stuff like that. But like,
I do too.
But when I'm eyeballing that scene, I'm like, how is she pouring this motherfucker a drink? Oh, wait, she's not pouring anybody anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's a little thing that I spotted.
I like that kind of stuff a lot. And there was actually one scene that I have to go back and rewatch because I feel like they messed up a bad render. It was in the pod racing scene before everything gets started in there in the garage. And that's when Qui-Gon is making that final deal with Watto. When Watto is circling him, at one point in time, his like leather chaps fucking diaper looking thing, I swear kept clipping into his like thigh. And the only reason I noticed it is like where we were positioned on the screen, my face was like right there. So like my eyes focused on it for like that half second and it looked like that bad render like clip in float kind of thing.
Yeah, I imagine it's probably just small enough they were like nobody's gonna notice unless they watch it 30 fucking times.
And then I'm over here, hey, right there.
Back and to the left. Back and to the left.
I'm pulling the fucking Leo card from
Once Upon a Time.
Yes. Hey, right there.
Hey, they said the title of the movie. Phantom Man-ass. They said the title of the movie. Superman for Quest of Peace.
But back at the hut, we also get the first look at C-3PO.
Yeah. Practical effect.
Yes.
No CGI. They built this goddamn thing of parts. They puppeted the fuck out of him. He looked cool as hell.
Yep.
And he would have that stagger look to him because he's built out of trash.
Mm-hmm. And you would also have to imagine that armor probably gains a little bit of extra support, especially in the legs.
Yeah, but like you get the spinner in the head, you know, they put the little spinning lights in to make it look like there's a processor going on. Mm-hmm. It looked really well done, and I had that toy just like you did.
Yep.
Yeah, so Anthony Daniels came back for that one. I could have gone without him.
I will say one of the cool things is there was a lot of puppeteering, and then they also made a separate suit for certain scenes, and they kind of did like that practical CGI blend, where he basically had a front suit. The back was open and clear, but they kind of put like this whole spandex type suit over him, and then started clipping on different pieces.
Yeah, I remember behind the scenes of that.
Yeah, and his arm kind of like slid up the back, and it kind of worked almost like an exoskeleton for the arms. And kind of used that for like certain like scenes. But yeah, if it was like far enough away, it was a lot more of the puppeteering, and that's like that made me smile a lot, is seeing that kind of puppeteering in that film. And
it's the first interaction between R2 and C-3PO. It's pretty simple, pretty well done.
R2's already given them the sass.
But then we have the discussion at the table. We had that discussion at the table of, hey, if you want, the gambling runs this town. If you need money and you want to get your ship fixed fast, put some money on it. Mm-hmm. And Anakin's very adamant, like, I can do this.
I hang out the dirt track all the time, bro. I got this.
Yeah. I'm a wheeling dealing motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. All right. It's like, I know Lucas was really wanting to pull like that 1960s dragster kind of vibe.
Oh, yeah. But
however,
that push it to the limit type shit, yeah.
Oh, yeah. However, with our upbringing, the only thing I saw that entire time was fucking dirt track fucking kind of thing. It's like, yes, you have muscle car sounds like Sebulba's Pod Racer and shit. However, all I'm seeing is a fucking tractor race.
It's fucking Top Gun.
Yeah.
It's Why,
that's because of my area too.
Why is Kenny Loggins not playing when the fucking engines start up? Push it to the limit. The
highway.
Yes. So they decide to do this, right?
Yeah.
Now there's two things that happen in the movie. I'm going to fast track a little bit.
You go.
Qui-Gon is questioning the mother. Hey, does he do this? Does he do that? Does he have spatial awareness, which is a Jedi trick?
Jedi census here. He's just like, how many people in your household?
Yeah. But like, and she's answering all these questions, and he asks, who's his dad? And she's like, there isn't one. And she's very like immaculate conception kind of thing. Okay. If the Force works in that way with metachlorians and all that, and I'll let that go. But the second part, I think they cut a scene out. So Anakin is fixing the pod racer, right? And we get the comic scene of Jar Jar Binks, not needed. Mm-hmm. But we meet his friends.
Oh, you're talking about the Greedo thing.
No. The Greedo thing would have been funny if they actually said his name out loud.
I was going to say, because that was a deleted scene.
Yeah. But at night, Anakin has a large gash on his arm, and that gives the pre-base of predetermination of let me get your blood. Why is he did they delete a scene where he got hurt and he didn't do anything about it or didn't feel it? Because for George Lucas to be the way he is, to have your main character get hurt and delete that scene from a movie that would have given basis to, he's force sensitive because he can take a hit and maybe stop the bleeding or stop it from hurting, or as we learned from Force Awakens and those other fucking movies, healing. Yeah. So why is that scene deleted? Why do we not have any even written part of why he's bleeding? It's a weird thing I noticed in the movie. Because he's not like pricking his fucking finger.
Well, see, I'm glad you brought that up though, because because I will overanalyze something because I'm a fucking nerd, but I try to not inflict that on other people because after a while I sound like a goddamn conspiracy theorist, or if I should be going, hey, welcome back to New Rockstars, my name's Alex. So, okay, we're going to be talking about episode 1.
We're going to talk about Attack of the Clones and its connection to 9/11.
Yeah, so it's like, I try to really straddle that line between, giving my true thoughts and opinions and not getting too out there. However, I had that same thought, and the only thing I could think of was that through all that rough and tumble in the pod, he cut himself, and there could have just been a scene of Qui-Gon taking everyone back to the house, looks down and goes, "Oh, you're bleeding. Let's get that taken care of." Like I could imagine even just a single scene of that possibly could have gotten trimmed.
That too, but like it, as elaborate as George Lucas is, or as people say he is, yeah, it seems like a weird kind of thing to do.
Yeah.
Of like, why is he collecting blood? Is he waiting for him to get hurt or something? Right. Instead of just like doing like a diabetic prick, But he sends it to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's like, this motherfucker's got it bad. This motherfucker's infected. That's another thing I think pissed off a lot of goddamn people with episode 1 when it first came out. What, the Force is parasites in the blood? Because
the
way
entire
he describes,
time you just kept going, AIDS.
Oh my god, he's got Jedi AIDS. Jedaids.
Jedaids.
He's got the HIV. But I remember people getting pissed off about that. Yeah. When that movie came out, and I'm just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, but he describes that sentiment was even shared, even that in the People versus George Lucas documentary, whatever the hell you want to call it. A lot of people were taking issues still with that.
He tries to cover his own ass when Qui-Gon says that the midichlorians work with us as a symbiosis, one with the other. But that only works in the aspect of a parasite. Yep. It's a parasite that you're describing.
As Spider-Man fans, we learned this with Venom.
Yeah. It's a goddamn parasite that's going to murder him one day, making him crazy. You're describing my cow disease. I just read a horrific book about symbiosis, and
I've not thought about mad cow disease in forever.
Yeah, you can't get blood if you've eaten beef overseas. But so he sends it out to Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's like, this motherfucker's got it bad. And Qui-Gon just gets that wild hair up his ass and like, we're going to take him with him one way or another. And so he makes a side bet. Now, I will say, he gave Watto a lot of breathing room on the gambling part. If you win, if Anakin wins, you give us our parts and you can keep the money. Fuck the money. I don't give a fuck about the money.
Mm-hmm. He's like, take the top off whatever the parts and you keep the rest. And
you can have the pod. Mm-hmm. Sold. If I lose, you get this brand new shiny fucking ship, and he's not risking anything except for an entry fee, which he'll get back on all the other stuff, win or lose. Yep. And somehow he copped a fucking attitude with Qui-Gon saying you can't get the boy. That right there should have gave Qui-Gon enough galactic pretense to murder him.
That would have been great.
No, motherfucker, you flying cocksucker! I'm going to take one of your wings. That would have been an insult. Yeah, just and Obi-Wan being like, "Hey, what's that on your robes? Nothing. It's a big old thing of nothing, motherfucker." Take this boy and his mom, put him on the ship. We're getting the fuck out of this desert shithole.
Well, see, I'm also curious.
We're gonna shoot it from space too.
So, okay, so this is also one of the reasons why I didn't remember that one scene talking about the chip, the explodey chip or whatever. So let's think about...
Well, they don't say it's exploding. They just say it's a tracker they can't take out.
Anakin said something about boom and slammed his fist on the table.
I don't know.
So here's my question. If there's a little, and boom, slams his hand on the desk. Let's think about that after the race. He comes up to Watto and he's just like, all right, little old Annie won. He's just like, that wasn't a fair bet. You're not getting them. He's like, I'll take you to the huts. He's just like, fucking fine, have them. Qui-Gon walks away. They walk back up to the house. Then Anakin finds out he's been freed. That immediately follows them running back to the ship and then, the big fight there. When did he get his ship taken out? When did it get deactivated?
Somewhere between the conversation of should we still have Jar Jar Binks with us in the desert, and maybe can we get rid of the space stations?
And again, that talking about him just being in too much. They wrote in a reason for him to stay at the ship and be a goofball. He could have gotten into trouble on the ship, and hey, now we've given the guards something to do, is corral fucking Jar Jar being a fucking idiot. But no, he's sitting here going like, this sun is a hell on my skin, or whatever the fuck he said.
I think they left him in just because to have the confrontation with the Sebulba and introduce Sebulba as an antagonist.
Sebulba was my favorite when
I
was a kid.
I wish they had put him in Attack of the Clones.
Because he lived.
Yeah. I wanted him to get killed. And I'll say this. I knew what was going to happen in the movie. We all do. But I was still excited about the race.
Yes!
Like, I was still amped, like, maybe they changed something.
They did.
But just enough for me to give a shit.
Well, see, they added. They didn't remove anything. So supposedly, this was one of the weird gripes I had, is they clearly tried to go in and, reinstate a couple old scenes. Disney did not go over it with their new brush and delegate a couple thousand to cleaning up some of the CGI. It was bad, but one of the things they actually did invest in was cleaning up the pod race. So they actually did re-render and clean up some of the race, and that's why it felt and looked so good. And they put in a lot more extra scenes. I think total there was 5 minutes worth of extra scenes in that pod race. One of the things that immediately gave it away, that's when I leaned over to you and I was like, this is the extended run, is they show more racers before they show Anakin, that blue-faced guy. And I think one guy after him was not part of the original show roster on the DVDs and shit we had. So that honestly was worth the price of admission. If we had bought tickets to just that extended / uncut pod racing scene, I would have been still a happy camper. That alone was fun.
Another thing I noticed was Greedo doesn't show up again until the pod race scene, right? We don't really know what happens to the other kid.
No.
Yeah, that would have been a nice little Easter egg. Been like, oh, who's this character? He's like, oh, this is my buddy Joe Antilles, the father of Biggs and Wedge Antilles. That would have been something. Just a little last name. I
wonder if someone at fucking Lucasfilm, Disney, whatever, while getting this movie ready to fucking get re-released, it's just make a backstory about that kid.
Yeah.
Whereas at the end of the movie, you find out. They're kind of setting it up as if it's a narrative of a brand new team and a brand new crew.
Well, that was the biggest.
And the other. And then at the end, he mentions something about, look, I know who that guy is. He actually used to be my friend. And he kind of explains, he's just he was always interested in building these really fast racers, this, that, and the other. And then some Jedi came through. And I didn't realize that's who they were until later.
Yeah,
and it's and at that point you realize, oh fuck, that's his friend. And
that's the fact I hate with George Lucas is he makes these characters give these very elaborate catalog fucking backstories to all the aliens and all the people, but we don't know what fucking Yoda's species called.
Yep,
That's what I'm saying.
But that's intentional.
Yeah, and it's fucking asshole-ish. That's what it is.
That's one of your fuck you George Lucas moments.
Yeah, it is. That and the stealing of Dune, like, and Flash Gordon. But
yeah, like you said, this part can kind of get a little bit more fast tracked because,
and we don't know why Qui-Gon and Anakin are running. We really don't know.
No.
Why the fuck are they hoofing it?
I think the parking meter was about to be up. Like they got a little bit sidetracked.
But Darth Maul on Tatooine is badass as shit.
Yes,
because the little black seeker droids he had, I had one of those, and those things are cool as shit.
Yes,
because I had Darth Maul on the bike.
I did too.
Yeah,
with the cloth robe and everything.
Yeah, and he came with the little black seeker. I think like 2 of them. But yeah, it was just like he rolls up on the bike, and I love just Qui-Gon turning around, and it's just Anakin says, "I can't keep up. Can we slow down?" And he doesn't hear it, and Qui-Gon's like, "Down," and he drops.
Yeah,
and pull it out, guys. Let's do this. Pop, 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 pop.
And as an adult rewatching that scene, props to the cinematographer because they did such a good job of one. Okay, so because one of the gripes of some of the current Star Wars movies have been the lightsaber fights are hard to follow because they're doing such tight framing and like such fast movement. It's kind of hard to keep track of who's who aside from the lightsaber color. They did the same thing here where it was a lot of tight cuts, a lot of fast cuts, but it was intentionally done because I was paying attention to the in-between cuts, and there was a lot of static camera staying in one spot with intentional arms coming into frame and clashing. Because there was like one scene that held on for a second was Maul's arm went up, and all you see is just Qui-Gon's saber hit it for a second, and it just flies off screen, but his saber and fist still holds there for like that half a second.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool, yeah, they were shooting a lot of, just arms going into frame to kind of give that thing, because they never fully showed his face in that scene.
And this is, you actually see behind the scenes thing, this is like one of 4 Darth Maul sabers, because this one, if you watch the hilt where the other saber is supposed to come out, is solid.
I noticed that as well.
It's like a bright nickel color.
However, I did as much as I noticed that in the final scene, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan's do the same thing. When you look at the front, it's like a completely flat surface.
Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed that fight. That's a solid like opener.
Oh yeah.
And if you're a kid and hadn't seen the trailer,
oh dude.
It's
on.
Why the fuck is his stick bigger than everyone else's? Like, it looks weird.
It does.
It looks like he's using like a certain, I forget what it's a type of sword where the handle is very large, like a samurai sword. Where the handle,
it's a something staff.
Yeah, but the blade comes out, but the handle is like a samurai sword. The handle is larger than, let's say, a European sword.
I keep wanting to say something like a Kento stick or something like that.
Yeah, but when they fly off and there's the back thing, and he's got a saber out, and you're just seeing the like 45-degree angle from the ground, looking at Maul watching them fly away. Badass fucking beautiful shot. Like Oswald, beautiful shot. And now they're booting rallying back to Coruscant. What I love is we get this quick, and this is episode 1 is all about quick exposition. It's got the fastest exposition of any Star Wars flick, and weird swipes. Weird editing swipes. Like, it's just like, they really had a lot of fun with like Microsoft editing.
Well, I was going to say Final Cut Pro had some new wipe features, and they're like, we got to use them all.
I was waiting for like a checkerboard fade.
Or like the YouTuber where it's like, it's the whole 180 frame flip.
So someone's got Microsoft Pro. But so the quick little exposition is Anakin's in the cockpit of the ship, and he's picking up what that pilot, that cool looking motherfucker, is showing him. And that guy's like, hey kid, you're picking this up quick. It's just going to help him, aid him better in being a better pilot and murderer later on. Because that's the thing about Anakin Skywalker was, he was a crack fucking pilot. He's literally Leia, Luke, and Han put together.
Gee.
And that's probably why he kicks their ass all the time. But it's that I'm just thinking of like that anime enemy of just like, he's so overpowered, and then by the next season we're kicking his ass left and right. every joke that I kept thinking was like a genocide joke. It's like you're just giving him more ammo to kill innocent people with.
and I find it funny too because it's like he was hearing like so many adult conversations, and they kept clicking to him of him like absorbing every single word.
Did you notice the scene? Okay, so I want to know if you know this. They land on Coruscant, and it's to the point. They go to the Jedi Council. He's like, because Qui-Gon's like, we have to meet with the Jedi Council. And fucking Anakin he turns around fast, like, do you say Jedi?
I know. I
was just like, is he going to say something quippy? Like, my boy. Do you want me to come with you?
That's why I'm here.
I got all this Jedi shit in me. Am I supposed to go with you?
Like, look, I know I'm following like some, older than me pussy, but but
then Padme turns around, Anakin.
Yes, ma'am.
What the fuck?
No, I was thinking about that because that was the same scene. It's like they walk up and like Palpatine's talking like all this, legal and government jargon and all this, and he's just looking up like, trade federations, taxation, blockades.
When do I get a lightsaber? When I'll get one of them kick-ass swords, I fight dudes in the desert like you did, because I think I could do that shit.
And unfortunately, because of our story we mentioned earlier of constantly having to move seats, when that last guy came up, thankfully I wasn't in a seat, so Chris just moved to the opposite side. So now there's like a row of 4 people. And when Samuel L. Jackson came on, it was so hard for me to not whisper, motherfucker, under my breath every time he said something.
He doesn't have to say it because he just looks at Qui-Gon and says, motherfucker.
Without saying, it's like
because Qui-Gon literally says, I'll take him on as Padawan, and then it's cuts to Sam Jackson just like, motherfucker.
It's like, bitch, I done said you can't do that. It's not part of the Jedi code, motherfucker.
That's the fan fight I want to see. Qui-Gon versus Mace Windu. Out the gate over an argument over some petty fucking bullshit, because we have the context that he's went against the council before, and that's why he's not a master.
It's got to be over something like Takeout.
You would hope it is. But by the second movie, we know what it is. It's about his master Dooku, who's kind of gone away from the Jedi, and we haven't talked to him in a while. And it's because Count Dooku's master, Cypher Dyas, which I think is Anakin's real father, told Dooku that, hey, there is no light and dark side. There's a middle ground, and we could use this for good in a better way than what we're doing. And if you follow that context, he teaches Dooku that. Dooku teaches Qui-Gon that. Qui-Gon teaches that to fucking Anakin in the handful of sentences he says before he gets murked. So, like, it's this disposition of order that bleeds into the characters, and that's why Obi-Wan lives in the fucking desert and isn't trying to fight for more Jedi later on.
Right.
That's why he gave up so quickly, because he watched the guy who tried to do the middle ground die. He watched the people on the high ground, the Jedi Council, fail, and he watched the enemy win. So that's, it creates this, political dynamism for me in storytelling. If that's why your characters are going to do this, is because, hey, this guy who's trying to change things for the better, trying to help this little boy, and instead of buck the odds of the Jedi, and kept Anakin in the game. So, yeah, it kind of gives you that development of just like the good guys aren't really good guys. This guy is the good guy, and he may go down a dark path, but he'll realign, and that's how you do a real, true, not so hero story, not so like a hero's journey, but a character's journey. That's the great thing about Darth Vader. Darth Vader is Star Wars. He's Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader. He ebbs and flows with the story, and that's why he's the one. Luke and Leia.
Ray brought balance to the Force, Chris.
Whatever. Lando Calrissian is the only black guy in the galaxy, and there's 2 black people in the other movies who don't have fathers around. I will say that.
We just finished talking about Samuel L. Jackson.
Where did he come from?
Well, you keep saying Lando's the only one.
Sam Jackson.
We just said Sam Jackson
is not black. Sam Jackson is Sam Jackson.
He is his own.
He is his own. He is a motherfucker. He is not black.
He is not black. He is not white. He is motherfucker. Mother/fucker.
He's from the Mustafaka family.
Oh.
He's
And
from
I
the
forgot
I'll be goddamn galaxy.
I forgot how steadfast Yoda was in this one on being like, fuck you and your boy.
Yeah.
You're not doing this. You
Well,
can
there-
kiss my little green ass.
Well, there's two things we noticed. One, this is a CGI Yoda, not a puppet, not
Yes.
a scary looking puppet.
Yes, they did do the CGI puppet. I think by the time they released Revenge of the Sith and did the Blu-ray box set of everything.
It was all changed.
Yeah.
But the group of masters that we have, the council, is the perfect example of when the good guys win too much. So he stole this. Get this. He stole this from King Arthur's tale.
Okay.
All right. So in King Arthur, a character named Mordred shows up, and the Knights of the Round Table reject him. And that's a fucking mistake, because Mordred happened to be the bastard son of King Arthur, and he ends up killing King Arthur in the story in a horrible fucking fight. So, but they brought it onto themselves. So he stole that, or borrowed, whatever the fuck you want to say.
Used it as inspiration.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe don't keep doing that. When you're trying
It's
to,
all poetry. It's supposed to rhyme.
yeah, write a haiku about why you got paid $4 billion for this. You piece of shit.
Because I own the company. Fuck you.
Yeah, I was the company. Fuck you. Hey, where's Mara Jade? Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of here!
I love that setup.
That's so hilarious. So he's doing the King Arthur story just for like setting up pretense of violence, and he ends up technically he kills all of them. Mm-hmm. They all die. And I go back and watch that, and I'm just like, God damn, just so much literary stuff he's stealing.
Inspiration.
But Yoda being so steadfast on that is another example of why the Jedi need to fall off the rails. Why Order 66 happens and how it became, because they're fucking blind. He literally says, "Your future is clouded." Like he's like, I can't get in there and see where you're going. I know you're fearful, and you're too old, which is another weird pretext about the fucking Galaxy Republic. It's like, so the Republic allows the Jedi to take them when they're like little children.
Yeah, Qui-Gon dropped that little thing. He's just like, well, if he had been on our care, we would have been able to stuff this out.
We
when
would
he
have
was
took your
younger."
child away from you.
Yeah. He just straight up says that to me when he's on Tatooine.
And we hear that from other Jedi and other parts of like movies and television. It's like,
So by the way, folks, this is not Chris just blowing it up, making memes about it anytime we joke about it. Motherfucker said it in the movie
that they take children.
Yes. This is not us just
In the Ahsoka
goofing
series,
off.
she says, I don't remember I vaguely remember my mother.
Mm-hmm.
Obi-Wan, in the Obi-Wan series, horrific fucking way he said, sad as fuck, I think I had a brother. That is heart-wrenching.
Mm-hmm. Especially coming from Ewan McGregor. He's just such a good actor.
Oh, fucking Shakespearean actor.
He sold it.
And he's like, I think I had a brother. Like that's like, what the fuck are you talking? You think?
Bitch.
What did they do to you, man? Oh wait, they made you a murderer. They made you a general.
They made you a war general
of clone troopers of a guy you fought.
Yes.
And almost murdered. Your boss had to step in to murder that motherfucker. Quick, fast, and in a hurry, too. Dude, that is the most crazy part of Star Wars, is like you get these like legendary characters together, and it's just like, hey, why is he like that? It's like, oh my God. That's horrific. That is some Holocaust level storytelling. Jesus Christ. What the fuck?
But real quick though, to play devil's advocate, so I get 100% what you're saying about with the way Yoda was acting and being so steadfast. That's another reason why the Jedi, kind of what Luke was saying, the Jedi need to end. They need to fail a couple times so they get off their high horse. However, with us knowing what happens all the way up to Order 66, was Yoda truly in the wrong? So what all Yoda's seeing, he knows of the prophecy. I highly doubt the prophecy said, now look, in that, his midichlorian count, you're not even going to be able to count them, bro. No one else is ever going to have this. So like, it's like the COVID test. It's like, yes, you may have a scratchy throat. However, do you have this, this, and this? Okay, well, let's take a test. Okay, just because his midichlorian count is high does not equate the chosen one, and it doesn't at least make it that very clear in the movie that that's like the defining feature. So, is Yoda truly off in saying, hey, man, this guy was really fucking strong in the Force, his future's cloudy? Your future wasn't cloudy, bro. Qui-Gon's wasn't cloudy. Like, this dude, there's some shit in the water. Like, where did you say you got it? Tattoo? Boss, look, if you're gonna be looking for chosen ones, let's not grab it from fucking Space India, okay? Let's take him back. Please put this thing back where it came from, or so help me. All this shit is about to go awry.
Well, that's the story of Mordred. That's the hindsight is, I can't tell who this person. I have a bad feeling
about this,
but it bootstraps him into becoming a villain. You created the villain by rejecting him. Why does Anakin turn so fucking fast for Palpatine? Because he keeps getting rejected.
Mm-hmm.
They
the people that were supposed to be on his side keep rejecting him.
The group he is with, the masters of the group, these all-powerful people of the Force who are not on your level, told you can't be with the one you love. Do as we say, not as we do.
You're a fighter.
When we first saw you, we rejected you. The guy who fought for you died because we stood fast and said we didn't believe the guy was a Sith, and that's really why he died. If 4 Jedi were there, they would have mincemeated that motherfucker immediately.
Sorry, 15 years later, we figure out you're correct.
The guy who didn't like you to begin with, Obi-Wan, is now going to become your fucking master. And even he had to do a fucking full 180 as you grew. So there's a resentment growing up. This is literally the King Arthur tale of, we created the guy that murdered us.
I see that 100%.
So they did this. It's cloudy because their powers aren't as good as his. The reason Anakin survives so much is because he sees it coming.
Right.
How did this little boy survive on a desert planet where people like him get murdered all the time? How did he have that interaction in the street saving Jar Jar Binks from Zabulba and not get killed? Because he's got the Force, and even probably Zabulba subconsciously like, I could kill you, motherfucker, but doesn't for some reason. Mm-hmm. He's king shit on Tatooine.
Oh yeah,
the Hutt wouldn't give a fuck about him killing a slave.
The multi-time pod racing winner that's got all those bitches around him, combing him and rubbing his feet. No, he is hot shit on Tatooine.
Jabba wouldn't have gave a shit.
No, not at all.
He wouldn't give a shit about paying for this slave child. For murdering it. He wouldn't have gave a shit because he's a villain. But there's an aura about him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that's giving off something kind of scary. And the Jedi not embracing that and being like, let's get you down the golden path.
Let's get you down the golden path of righteousness, boy.
Well, let's fast track you into being a master and then rejecting him in the second and third movie where we're told that, hey, he can go toe-to-toe with Yoda. He can go toe-to-toe with Mace Windu. He can go toe-to-toe with anybody that's a master or in the Jedi Order. But we're not going to give him that rank. And then he's, in the back of his mind, he's going to be like, this is why Qui-Gon died. This is why Obi-Wan is not quite on my side. This is why I can't be with the girl I want to be with. You guys are ruining my fucking life.
I hate you, Dad.
Well, it's not just that. It's like, this job is ruining my fucking life.
Yeah.
And we're in the game. Our job is to kill. And now if you're looking at it as not like a Star Wars movie, but as a movie, it's just like, it's kill or be killed, guys. Because there's no leaving the Jedi. All right, as much as how nice the Jedi are, there ain't like, hey guys, I'm just going to take a break and go like live on a farm somewhere. It's like, no man, you're fucking in. It's a gang.
Yeah,
this is an organization of killers. Like you're in this shit for life. Okay. And that's what got all those other guys killed.
Yep.
Cypher Dyas leaves the Jedi Order and gets killed. Dooku left and was able to hide himself from the Jedi and became a Sith. So that's why his surprise showing and his mercy toward Obi-Wan is it's like, my Padawan trained you. Did he tell you about me and how we really think the Jedi should be and why it's fucked up? and why it looks like I'm turning to a dark side, because Dooku doesn't really turn to the dark side. He's just there. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I'm trying to make the galaxy great again. Like,
kind of, yeah.
In a weird conservative way, yeah. But at any point, he could have killed Obi-Wan. He could have killed Padme in the second movie. But going back to the first movie, they did this to themselves. And this is the first signs of it. Mm-hmm. And it's really fucked up because Qui-Gon's like, you know what? I'm going to take him anyway. Because I fucking can.
Fuck you.
Because I'm not in the game like you guys are in the game. I'm just the knight. You know, you guys are masters. I asked permission, and now I'm just taking them.
Yeah.
And I do like how, like, Sam Jackson kind of leans up a little bit.
Motherfucker.
Because he's the second in command. And Yoda is being vehemently like, no. And
I can't say this one backwards.
And Qui-Gon,
no.
but there is that stipulation, like, hey, we'll put this on the back burner because there's a war coming.
Yeah.
If that pretense wasn't there, they would have probably sent him off somewhere. Yeah. Or killed him.
Put this thing back where it came from.
Honestly think they would have tried to kill him. And a better story would be, instead of Order 66 happening, the clones ended up dying for some kind of genetic problem because they're built too fast. And the Jedi are sent to kill Anakin. A better version of this is Yoda realizes there's something wrong with Anakin and he needs to be put down. And Palpatine sends clones to defend him. Clones die fighting Jedi who are trying to murder him. Padme dies in the process, giving birth. Obi-Wan goes toe-to-toe with him.
And that's what finally sets him off the edge, is seeing Padme die, and then Obi-Wan coming in being like, you've got to come with me.
Yeah.
You got to come with me.
Yeah, and like,
No.
Instead of the, I hate you, it's, I'm going to fucking kill you. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do what Qui-Gon couldn't do and bring order to the fucking galaxy. You know, if you want to do like a big, you know, John Williams fucking opener, yeah, that's how I would do it. And maybe a little bit of electric guitar.
Just because why not?
And I said this to you in the car, so I would bring this up. Every time Darth Maul's like music starts, it's the Bowser theme song from Super Mario Brothers. Dun, 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 dun. And then it's the and I'm just like, I've never heard that before until we started doing like the video content, because I fought Bowser recently,
right,
to do practice, and I'm just like, that's the goddamn music. John Williams, you fucking thief.
Oh, God.
You stole from Nintendo, you piece of shit.
Motherfucker.
But no, I'll show it to you what I'm talking about. But like, it's you'll hear it too. Mm-hmm. But I was just like, it's Bowser. So I recently bought Bowser from a collection store. We'll talk about that later.
I will say one of the awkward scenes, it's somewhere around this area, is the Asian space aliens have already descended on Naboo and sent out all their little attack droids. And it's the scene where the hologram droid is walking backward, showing Palpatine. And
it kind of like ebbs.
Yes.
Like flows like a wave. I will say that would be a cool figure to have, like a little platform with the little legs and like a ghost-looking emperor on. That'd be cool.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Disney, get on that shit.
I was going to say, that's so cool, it made me forget what I was going to say.
Ebbs and flows like a wave.
Yep. Oh, well, forgot.
Well, he's talking to the viceroys.
Yeah.
And they're just talking about it, and he's like, hey, I'm sending my boy Maul down there to help you out.
Oh, that's what it was. Yes. So after Maul gets there, that's the scene where they're walking, where the droid's walking backward. He's walking with those aliens. Those aliens are wearing like lifted shoes, and I think like a lifted like neck area to kind of give them that really tall appearance. Ray Park is wearing basically moccasins.
Yeah, Ray Park looks short compared to them.
He looks so tiny.
Yeah, well,
it's just like, oh, it's your widow Sith Lord.
Well, like even when you look at like how Padme looks up at them when she's got the gun on them, and she's probably like 5'2" maybe. She looks even smaller because they are in lifted outfits. They are taller. But by the time the third movie happens, I guess they forgot about that because they're on eye level with Anakin. Anakin's not that fucking tall.
No.
And he murks all of them.
No, I just thought I liked the fact that those aliens were a little taller, but however, sticking Maul right beside them, it really reminded me of like So the two aliens look like old men anyway. Look like the old couple with their goth kid at Walmart. Oh, it's just a phase.
He's really into a band called Misfits right now.
I like Slipknot.
Yeah. He's the new metal fucking Sith.
Yep.
But what I like about this, speaking of Ray Park, his design, we've never really talked about it. They did a perfect design of his character. His teeth, I don't know if you noticed how they did his teeth. They yellowed him and capped him.
Mm-hmm. He put some black schmutz on it.
Yeah, he looks menacing. That's not his voice in the movie.
No.
They ADR'd his fucking voice for some goddamn reason. Well, he does sound sinister though. I will say that. But altogether, Darth Maul is probably one of the best Star Wars villains of all time, in my opinion. Right up over Vader.
And again, I got a new appreciation for it seeing it on the big screen, because the only ways I've ever consumed that movie, I think the biggest screen I had was a little bit bigger than the one that I currently have downstairs. It was the family big TV we had in Roanoke, Virginia. I think that was the biggest TV I ever watched it on. So even in comparison, still teeny tiny.
Yeah.
So seeing him on the big screen and seeing that the Tatooine fight and then later on the Duel of the Fates fight, seeing that on the big screen really did help my opinion of, yeah, Darth Maul's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. Another part of the movie I really enjoyed, because we rewatched it, is just the setup to the Duel of Fates.
Yeah.
And I'll say this to people who watched the Ahsoka show and talked about how the Force doesn't work that way. There was a scene where the guy, he does the Force jump, and old girl gives him a Force push.
Yeah.
And people are like, the Force doesn't work like that. I'm like, we literally saw Obi-Wan Kenobi jump 3 fucking stories like it wasn't shit from one platform to another. Like
Yes.
It wasn't fucking shit.
That and the fucking Force run at the beginning of the movie.
They forgot how to do that.
They used it once. They used it that one time. It's like that meme video. It's like, you want to use your get out of jail free card on this. It's like, you want to use your Force dash your one time with this time?
Yeah.
This time. All right, let's kick it into high gear. Press that utility belt.
Yeah, and so I do we've got to the point where Queen Amidala decides to go back to Naboo with her guys. Mm-hmm. All right, so
I'm going down, or if the ship's going down, I'm going down with it.
And so they make this deal with the Gungans to a full-on open field battle with the droid army as a distraction. Mm-hmm. Palpatine tells her, "What are you doing? You can't go." But he talks to the fucking viceroys and kill this bitch. Yep. Kill every fucking one of them. I don't give a fuck. And knowing
Make it glass.
Yeah, and knowing that it's both the same guy is hilarious.
Yes.
He's just,
there's so many times when they clip back to Senator Palpatine, and he's just like, I just have no idea what's going on. That's not what I said.
Well, that kind of goes into what we were talking about with Mikey last night when he was talking about D&D. It's like, instead of making your villain this all-powerful being, make him someone who's meek. Make your guy, if you're doing a D&D campaign, make it someone that's unassuming, an NPC like Palpatine, this guy who speaks in advisory kind of aspect, and then later on has basically corralled you where he needs you, and then he plays the game because he's playing both sides, and that's the villain. That's the great villain. You know, that's the Dick Cheney of the fucking Star Wars universe. He played both sides and won. At the end of the day, Palpatine wins. You know, by the time Return of the Jedi happens, that's when he finally takes the final blow, unless we watch the other movies. But somehow he's come back.
I cannot let that line down. I'm not ragging on the movie as a whole. That's for another day. But that line is so unexcusable in any context.
One scene in Last Jedi would have saved this whole goddamn franchise, and it would have been Hux, who survived the destruction of the fleet, go back to that terrible fucking planet and says, "Is it done now? We've lost our last one." And it's the final perfect clone of Palpatine. That's how you save the fucking franchise, guys. Not just Poe Dameron, somehow he's back. No, let's have the last Imperial officer say, "Is it fucking done now? Because we lost the last clone." All the Snokes in a bottle. They killed them all. But, have we revived him?
Mm-hmm. That would have been awesome.
And we got just a Sam Raimi Deadite looking hand come up and George Lucas.
But no, it's like, and that further solidifies my opinion on that. That line is just completely unexcusable. Somehow,
Now the biggest line is
Palpatine
unexcusable.
has returned.
The biggest unexcusable line is Han Solo. That's not how it works. Like, shut the fuck up.
I love that line though.
It works however the fucking writer says it works. It's an all-powerful psychotic force in the galaxy. Whether it's force jumping 40 fucking stories, super speed, or picking up a goddamn broom with the force. That's how it works, Han Solo.
But yeah, as you were saying, the setup to the Duel of Fate. So Amidala runs on back to Naboo.
And they got the decoy. They still have the decoy. And she's like still... The royalty in the Star Wars universe are run and gun motherfuckers. I love that. And that's why they played in the comic book. So those handmaidens are deadly motherfucking bitches. Because like... There's a reason there's 4 of them in a room, motherfucker, because they're all fucking packing. Mm-hmm. And my favorite thing to say about any female character, keep that motherfucking thing on you.
I love the scene where it's like, so the queen looking one, that's the distraction, distracts them away, and then she's like, all right, nope, we're talking about this now, and fucking clicks a little thing on the throne chair.
She gets in her chair and there's 2 pistols.
Yeah, and as soon as that happened, you just went, yeah.
Keep that motherfucking thing on you.
You just went, yeah, and immediately pointed at the screen.
Yeah. Always keep a gun on you, motherfucker. You never know what kind of motherfucker you're welcome on. And I'm just like, it's just down by law by fucking Killer Mike playing around. I got you, motherfucker. Down by law. But I will say this. If you were to redub that movie, like ADR it, I would have done it with just like the decoy with full makeup on, by the way. The doors open. What's good? Pow! It's just like, and they're like, get him. This is a decoy. Get him. And it's just like, got your ass. And it's like,
got your ass again. I am the decoy.
Just redub it with Wesley Snipes from New Jack City.
Oh, God.
Hey, Pookie. Pow! And I will say this. I would have shot one of the Viceroys if I was Padme. I would have been like, there's 2 of them. I would have shot the lesser one in the face and looked at the other one and been like, you see what's happening now? You see how fucking serious I
am the captain, and I always have been.
Cut him off. Cut all the goddamn droids off, or I'll start cutting pieces off your fucking ass. Hey, look what I got. And she pulls out one of the sabers. I just took this. I just took it.
That Qui-Gon guy,
you know,
kind of an asshole.
You know how many Jedi are on fucking Coruscant? You know how fucking stupid they are? They left this one around. And she starts waving it around all willy-nilly, and it's just like, whoa, she does not know how to operate that thing, and she may be a little, oh man, this thing's kind of heavy. And just waving in front of his face a little bit. Oh God. I'm being tortured by a clumsy person. That's so much worse. But that scene alone is like very smart and well played out. It's like we have this massive battle happening over here. We have the Duel of Fates happen here, and Padme and her group happening over here. It's a 3-front process, and it worked out perfectly in storytelling. And it's very fast paced.
Oh yeah.
And what I really liked was, all right, so Jake Lloyd's in a ship. Mm-hmm. Anakin's in a ship.
Stay in that cockpit.
He did nothing wrong. It brought him to the problem. He was just with R2 having a conversation. Hey R2, what are we going to do? How can we help? And beep, 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 motherfucker, turns the engine on and kicks him the fuck out into space. Keep in mind, he's only been in space once. It's cold.
He doesn't like it.
He doesn't like the cold. Later on, he doesn't like sand, but that's a different story. It takes him to a fucking dogfight. And he's just like, all right, I'm in it now.
He's a real motherfucker.
And if you think about, like, if you're talking about a story, if you think about this as a long movie, well, I'm not going to be a Jedi, so I guess I'll be a fucking pilot.
I'll die for my country.
And just starts fucking just annihilating shit.
And he's just like, you got to take this thing off autopilot or we're both fucking dying.
And so he gets, the ship gets hit. By the way, Naboo fighter, coolest fucking ship in Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
I take that over the Millennium Falcon any day.
I don't think it beats any of the original trilogy, but when it comes to the prequels,
it is for me. It does for me, because I used to have one of them motherfuckers made of metal.
So that's nostalgia talking.
Well, that's nostalgia, but it's like this sleek. It's cool.
No,
like,
and I definitely agree.
It doesn't look like that trash X-wing, and it doesn't make that stupid fucking screaming noise like a TIE fighter. It doesn't make that stupid screaming noise like a TIE fighter. Yeah. God damn, check the engine.
They can't. They're poor.
But that's the thing about the Naboo ships. They're all sleek and shit. They're all cool as fuck.
Well, they got war
even their
money.
weapons. You notice the guns are like these silver chromed out fucking. Damn, it's a nice piece. I almost don't want to get blood on it. Yeah, fuck.
But
No, I keep that motherfucking thing on me. God, can you imagine if droids bled?
Roger.
just oil, just bleeding out of them. Oh, God, T-14, I'm fucking dying. Hold it.
Roger.
Say I'm gonna be okay. Oh, fucking shit. Because one thing about Star Wars, what is it? Droids feel pain.
Yep. Droids are sentient.
And fear. Did you notice, like, the first time we see droids go after Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, they're just like, they're kind of shaking.
Yeah. They're like,
fuck.
I also love the bit where he's just like, yes, we're taking these prisoners away. He's just like, what was your name? He's like, Qui-Gon. He's like, what? He's like, Qui-Gon. He's like, yeah, that's not in our system. You're under arrest.
And he's just like, oh, am I?
And I'm just sitting here going, I'm like, you interrupted that droid's smoke break. He is too high to be doing this. He's like, hey, dude, what are you doing? Oh, wait. No, your name's like not in my system. You're like, hold on. Like, you're under arrest, dude.
What would have been funny if his Obi-Wan's like, hold on, I got this. Yeah, I'll give you my ID. Zip! And just killed him.
That's just what they did.
Yeah.
It's just like,
let me tell you.
You're under arrest. Shink!
Oh, let me show you my get out of jail free card. Just stabbed the shit out of him.
And I do love the scene you called it too. And I never really noticed this. It's like, I remembered the scene clearly, but I didn't remember the nuance of the scene, which is they finish wiping out that area. Anakin's about to take the fuck off. They're running to that one door, and fucking Maul's waiting there for him. It opens up.
The open door, and just like Padme's like, we're going to take a sharp left.
Yeah, I know. I remember the scene as clear as day. And I remember them just like seeing it and being like, yeah, we're going to go this way. I don't remember the comedic nuance of all them like,
nope.
There was such comedic nuance on the pause, because everyone paused and did that slight lean back. Like, it wasn't big, but like 2 or 3 people just kind of did that slight like, oh fuck.
Hey, what the fuck is that?
And Padme's just like, this way, guys. And they're like, yep, that sounds good to me. Let's go.
Yeah, that sounds just right. But anyway, so another scene is like they get pinned down by droidicas while Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan deal with this fucking problem. And so the ship goes up and he turns the ship and fires on the droidicas. All he had to do after doing that was tip the ship left and shoot Darth Maul in the face. Because there ain't deflecting a fucking shot from a starfighter.
No.
I don't give a fuck how cool you are. I don't give a fuck if you're Kylo Ren doing the fucking stop, which was cool. But like,
what about Darth Vader stopping the ship?
That's more tangible. That's more tangible than stopping a giant bolt.
That's true. That's true.
All right, but like, just like, can we go right, dude? You can kill those droids any fucking time. This is a one-shot kill right here, dude. They ain't dodging this motherfucker. You cripple them, cut them in half. Like, and so, but it builds on the 3-shot thing, and then we get the comedic battle of the Gungans versus the droids.
Yeah, I was gonna kind of just gloss that because that was almost just filler and like a show off.
It is on the field of that is Microsoft XP.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Windows 98 screensaver.
Yeah, the gold and green field of the.
So I mentioned that one of my favorite things is to watch the prequel making of things, because every time they're trying to debut some new piece of technology, and it's cool seeing people being excited about now primitive technology. So I like watching it in retrospect. And they were talking about how they're going to have this huge scene with all the Gungans and all the battle droids, and there's going to be so much happening on screen that it's never been like this in any sort of CGI thing. They're really pushing the limits and the boundaries. What they did not say, with knowledge now about rendering and CGI graphics, The reason they were even able to do that with the computers at the time is exactly what you said, is they had a static background image and static green grass. It was primarily all the exact same tone with a little bit of texturing. And I was this is the one time I didn't allow myself to fall into the movie. I was analyzing it too hard. I was paying attention to duplicate characters, because if you watch, you will see like 2 or 3 droids all move their arm the exact same way, or like 2 Gungans that are on like the exact same run cycle, and like their ears are flapping the exact same way. And like if there's more on screen, there's less texture, but then when we zoom in, we can see all the battle scars and the blast marks and everything else. But as soon as we zoom out, it's like the rubbery looking characters.
But yeah, it was the more iconic scene from the trailers.
It was.
The droids coming to life. It's like, shit, there's a fuck ton of these guys. And that was one of the cool toys I think Lego ever made, was the droid Armada ship.
Yes. What about the Taco Bell Armada ship?
That was pretty cool.
That held all the cups. Yeah. Are we busting out the good china this evening, Chris? Yeah. We're having guests over.
The Pepsi Star Wars cooler?
Yes.
The droid.
Yeah.
But another one I thought was really cool, which they only did with the droids, was, so the droids, battle starfighters, are actually 4-legged land bots, land tanks, and they can shape, basically Transformers, turn into a fucking jet and fly off, which I thought was really cool, because it was really, it gave them an edge, really, so they can be on the ground and in the air at the same time. And it's kind of like the precursor to a TIE fighter. A lot of these things are precursors to what would become, X-Wings.
Oh, actually, thank you for mentioning that. I finally caught an Easter egg, which was when Maul first landed on Tatooine. When they showed it off in the distance, it looked eerily similar to Vader's starship in A New Hope. But as it came in, as it angled, it showed off the long snoot, essentially, of the ship. So it's like, it kind of gives you that feeling of like, Vader's coming. Oh, it's small.
Well, if you all right, so if we go back to the very beginning of the movie, where Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon's ship, the red ship, that literally looks like a Hammerhead ship in reverse. So they look like they just gave it a new painting and just turned it around and created a new ship.
Yep.
And it looks fantastic. I think I had that toy growing up, the red one, the one that gets destroyed immediately. No one ever fucking uses. But yeah, so like we get the Duel of Fate scene, the choreography's fast as fuck.
Like, seriously, props to Ewan McGregor and everyone else on that team, especially Ewan, because we already know that Ray Park is a motherfucker. He is just built for this shit.
Did you ever see Ray Park at San Diego Comic-Con? There's a video with the Kylo Ren saber.
Yes.
That motherfucker was lethal with that goddamn thing. That thing was he's like, oh, this is how he should do it. Wham! Just flipping it around. Like, and he spun it with his fingers. It's like, god damn. And he like did the stab. And it's like...
But yeah, so we already knew he was crazy, and we've seen Liam Neeson fucking throw down too.
Oh yeah.
But fucking Ewan McGregor, after Qui-Gon dies, and it's Obi-Wan versus Maul, they are going at fucking breakneck.
I love his face when he's behind the red light, because that's like somebody behind a red light trying to get to work.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I got your ass now.
But it's like, as soon as those fucking lights release, the intensity and precision of that pop, 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 pop.
Well, he does the behind the back defense.
Yes,
fast as hell.
That is one of my favorite moves. It looks so good on camera. It shows the agility, and just it honestly put in perspective just how kind of lazy the new lightsaber fights have been. Like, I honestly tried to not fall into that, but then you show me this on a fucking huge screen and fucking like hit me and pound me with it. Yeah, all of a sudden I start thinking about the other duels we've seen recently, and I'm like, damn, get back up on this level, guys. This is fucking intense.
Well, even in the original trilogy, the duels aren't that well choreographed, and it's just it's saber fighting.
Yeah.
At best.
Yeah.
Even Obi-Wan.
This is trained masters.
Yeah. So Obi-Wan and Darth Vader would have been the last ones to know any of that shit. Why does Luke not do this kind of stuff? Well, because he's on Dagobah for what, 3 weeks maybe.
And he's a fucking hick.
But he's not going to learn that from Yoda. Yoda's trying to just teach him the basics because he don't know the basics. Younglings don't know the fucking basics, and that's why they're not zipping around with lightsabers and shit. So it explains to why Rey wouldn't have it. Kylo Ren would have had it to a point, but the guy who showed him how to use the Force tried to murder him in his goddamn sleep. So maybe he don't want to fucking go back to that.
I'd like to pretend that's Luke. Luuke.
Yeah.
Luke.
Well, if Mark Hamill didn't like it and wanted a bitch, he didn't have to come back. Just saying, like, if he wants to run his fucking mouth about it.
Well, from what I understand, is he had signed the contract before the script was doing the table read.
And that's fucking on him, ain't it? But that's why we kill off these people. That's why they should have killed Chewbacca. Oh, wait, they did. And I cheered. Everyone was like, oh, God. I was like, yes! And just the mire of fucking 100 people looking at me just like, monster.
But no,
when they killed Chewbacca, I cheered.
And then, of course, Maul also meets his demise. And
all right, let me ask you something about that. Obi-Wan jumps up, cuts him in half, and there's a little bit of mist. Do you remember that being a lot fucking more growing up?
I honestly don't.
I remember there being like a lot more like reddish mist.
See, I always took that as the lightsaber glow.
I took that as him getting cut the fucking half and it's blood splatter. Pink mist, motherfucker.
No, I always kind of took that as the red glow from his lightsaber still being near him.
I don't know, I remember it being more prominent when I first saw the movie.
Which would explain why maybe it was more predominant, because of course every time they release this they recolor grade and upgrade, so who knows, maybe the vibrancy was cranked up a little higher during the first run. But no, another very well nuanced scene right at the very end was at Qui-Gon's funeral, where Yoda and Windu are talking, and he's just like, okay, there is no doubt that guy was a Sith. There's no way he wasn't.
And always two.
And Yoda's like, yep, and there's always two, a master and an apprentice. And Windu goes, yeah, but who did we take care of, the master or the apprentice? As it does a slow backup to show Palpatine.
Yeah, it goes from Anakin, Obi-Wan, Padme, Palpatine.
Yep.
And
Palpatine isn't, and I think again with how everything, as you mentioned, everything is intentional. He is not part of the group. Because again, Anakin, Padme, Obi-Wan are kind of sharing personal space. They spent time with this guy. He's not even part of like the Jedi Council. He's not even part of like any of the other groups. He's kind of sat off by himself, cocked to the back, where he kind of has a view of the whole room, but he's not part of the room.
Yeah, so like another thing, if you notice when Palpatine shows up after the war's over, the blue guards that are with him are definitely precursors to the Praetorian Guard from Return of the Jedi. Yep. And another thing is where Padme's like, I'm going back to Naboo, and she turns her back to him, and he's like, you shouldn't go back. But as soon as she leaves the room, there's a fucking smirk on his goddamn face.
It's during the wipe up. I noticed that too.
The left side of his face just cocks a grin, and I'm just like, that is how you write an evil character.
Yep, and it's like, it's
quick
quick and you miss it because it was during the wipe up,
and that's why we got to slow it down. Look, back into the left,
right there,
back to the left. Pink mist. But yeah, so they do the great celebration scene at the end, which is just janky as fuck all the time. It's just like a shit ton of CGI.
Mace Windu is appearing and disappearing in the fucking lineup.
A problem I had with it was so it's Anakin and Obi-Wan, Padme in full regalia, the Gungan King. They have this giant shiny ball. The governor's there with the shiny ball, but all the other Jedi are there. Y'all didn't help for shit.
They wanted to avoid another Chewie situation where they're like, why didn't John Bobner get fucking a part of the celebration? He was there in that one scene.
But like, we don't need all these motherfuckers. We don't. Get the fuck out of here. I would like to know how that one Jedi got scarred up real bad. That would have been an interesting story in a comic or something, guys. Disney, get on that. But yeah, it ends with the giant celebration scene. Boom, directed by George Lucas.
Yep. Another little small Easter egg I noticed for the first time was in the credits, Jabba the Hutt was credited as being played by himself.
Yes.
That was a nice little wink, because I started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? He really didn't speak.
You know what I did notice? One of his slave women to the side with the blue hair.
Yeah.
Lived.
Yes.
She's in Return of the Jedi. She's just one of the girls that are singing. And you kind of see some of you see his second hand, of course, that piece of shit. He's so fucking weird looking. He looked like a heroin dealer, a space heroin dealer.
I know.
And I like how he got all fat in the Boba Fett series and they murdered him. But yeah, so yeah.
And one last little Easter egg that I never recognized before. It's probably been there since the start. I just probably never took it all the way to the end like that, because they were showing a preview of the Acolyte at the end. I never noticed the Darth Vader breath at the end.
I did. So when I had the DVD. It's at the end of that DVD. It's at the end of all of them.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. It was probably there, but that was new for me, because I don't think I ever let it last that long.
I think it would have been cool if they were to do the dun 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 dun, dun and just one breath and just let it slide out. Oh, that would have been fun.
Yeah. So,
but I will say the Acolyte trailer looked good at the end.
Yeah.
I didn't like the Disney heavy shit at the beginning of the movie.
It's coming though. They own everything.
But it's a giant advertisement for Disney. We saw some really good trailers. The Wild Robot looked fantastic. Whatever that is,
Yep,
it's Pixar.
that's right.
It's DreamWorks.
DreamWorks, yes.
Yeah, fuck them. But no, that looked really good. But the Acolyte looked good. It looks like an espionage / true murder tale. They are detectives. There's somebody murdering Jedi. The choreography on the fighting.
Now
it's over the top.
Now, if I remember correctly, isn't Acolyte supposed to be set way
it's after
back?
the fall of the Old Republic.
Okay, so I'm going to be 100% wrong on this. However, I want that fucking badass chick. That was who trained you? I want that chick to be related to Obi-Wan. I want that to be like his mom or something. And the only reason I say that is her robes.
Yeah.
It really reminded me of his Tatooine robes. So it's far enough disconnected to where it's not I'm wearing my mother's clothes. So it's far enough to where it's just no, it's just probably part of the garb. Yeah. However, her stoicness, her quickness, the boots, all of that said Kenobi.
She could be like an ancestor.
Yeah. It said Kenobi to me. So,
but that's old girl from the Matrix. So she's highly trained in choreography and stuff, and she did fantastic. I like how there is this laziness to it. I'm not pulling out my lightsaber for a fucking reason, because I don't need to, bitch. And then she starts throwing shit at her, and she's like, fine, you want to see it? And oh, fuck, now it's on.
Yeah.
So the Acolyte does look kind of like the Winter Soldier, an espionage flick, or Civil War, where it's very different from the Star Wars that we've been seeing. Because those movies, to me, are the best. Rogue One. Rogue One, we didn't see a lot of that. So I think it looks like a really cool murder mystery of Star Wars. I don't think Scoob and the Gang's going to show up or anything. But
Jinkies.
Oh, fuck me. That's what they really should. If they bring back Michelle Gellar and all them guys.
Oh my god.
And it's just Scoob and the Gang, and it's just Fred Smoker's well, fuck me, I guess we gotta look. It's just and he just ashes out the window.
But yeah, so that's a special little bonus episode here this week for the Couch Brotatoes, because we started this whole thing on Star Wars and King of the Hill. We had to see episode 1 in theaters, and of course we would pretend as if we just got back home and recording our first thoughts after watching the film. So hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely check out the YouTube for some Fistful of Quarters episodes. Not entirely, I think we're back on Super Mario this week. But yeah, so make sure and subscribe to that, and make sure and give a little like and a rating to the podcast. It helps. You guys have been doing that without me asking, so now I'm going to start asking. But for this episode of the Couch Potatoes bonus episode, I've been Alex, and Chris, do you have any sort of bonus final thoughts?
I really loved it if Force Awakens had started with Rey fixing a old droidica and use it as a protocol droid. Instead of guns coming out, it's just like a tray.
You've been listening to the Something Good Network. If you liked what you heard, you can follow us on Instagram, and check out the other great shows on the network. Link is in the episode description.